Hello and welcome. Welcome to another Lunch with Lisa. I'm Lisa Warner. I am the author of The Simplicity of Self-Healing. It's a book that I wrote after I healed myself naturally from cancer without using the medical model at all. And if I can do this, everyone can do this. So today I want to talk about the importance of learning about biological laws, like universal laws. Most people have heard about the universal laws, like the law of attraction, for instance, saying that, what you vibrate out comes back. So what are the biological laws? Well, they are the laws generated by the universe itself. They are irrefutable. They work all the time, 24/7, across the board. They work exactly the same for every body, whether you're a fish body or a camel body or a human body or a tree body. All bodies are built on the same template. They all work the same, under the same laws. So now, when I found myself facing cancer, it occurred to me that the current solution that the medical model offers is remission. I had no interest in remission whatsoever, because remission really means like a payment for a sin. Remission is a payment. I was in a position where I was paying enough already. I was in pain. I was in emotional trauma, turmoil, stress, depressed, basically suicidal at the time. And I knew beyond the shadow of a doubt that my emotional state was generating my physical state. It was quite clear to me that there was a direct connection. I knew that if I was just completely happy and living a life that I loved, being in peace and ease and joy, that my health would be completely different than it was while I was living on the brink of suicide. So instead of going the standard medical route down that path of chemo, radiation, radical surgery, doctor appointment after doctor appointment, pill after pill after pill, I decided to do something different. From the time I was born, I knew that there was that this planet, that what was going on this planet was not in alignment with the rest of the universe. The universe is harmonious. We live in a peaceful universe. But that's not what's happening here on this planet. When we look at nature, nature is peaceful. It's harmonious. It keeps itself in balance. Nature is natural. The cycle of life. But we're not living in harmony with nature. Therefore, we're not living in harmony with our own human nature. So when we're not living in harmony with our own human nature, dis-ease is unavoidable. So I decided to start stepping up my game. I decided that I was going to learn how to become a masterful human, that I was going to learn how to become a masterful creator of my reality. Because I knew that we are creators of our reality. I had been studying spirituality, I had been studying alchemy. I knew enough that it was clear to me that somehow we are generating our reality. At the time, I had no idea how I had really created this cancer thing, but all I knew was that if I had created it, I could also uncreate it. So I made it my business to learn how to uncreate what I had created. And I knew beyond the shadow of a doubt, the medical model was not going to show me how to uncreate my miscreation. So I decided to dive in and search for the answers inside. I decided to ask for guidance from the higher realms, from my higher self, from God's source universe. I decided to get quiet, to sit, to ask, and then to listen for the answers. So at first, when I was really, really scared, I started to ask, why me? Why is this happening to me? What did I do wrong? What's wrong with me? And very quickly, I realized that those questions were not going to give me the answers that I was looking for. They were only going to give me more of what I already had. So I decided to ask better quality questions. And I started to ask, what do I need to know about this in order to change it? And I got very quiet. It took me a while to get my mind quiet enough to actually receive the answer, but I was persistent. And every day I sat in the question until finally the answer popped in, and it was plain as day, clear as a bell, absolutely, totally obvious. And it changed my entire life in that moment. It changed everything I knew about cancer and disease. The answer that I received was, hey, Lisa, your body is not being attacked by cancer or anything else. Your body is responding to your emotional state. Your body is doing exactly what it is designed to do under the given circumstances. Light bulb, that I knew beyond the shadow of a doubt was true. So in that moment, when I realized that my body was not being attacked, it was completely obvious to me that cancer is the illusion. It's not a real thing. And I thought, how do I prove that cancer is an illusion? Well, I can't go down to the corner store and get a cup of cancer. I can't, if I ask to be shown cancer, what are they going to show me? They're going to show me cells. The cancer is implied. The biology is just doing what the biology is doing under the given circumstances. Cancer and disease are assumed. And when we assume something, we also assume its form. So when we assume that we're being attacked by cancer, our body assumes that form, our life assumes that story, and it then consumes us. But this is not what is happening. Our bodies are not being attacked by diseases. This is where the biological laws come in. The biological laws, 5 biological laws, were discovered by Dr. Ryke Geerd Hamer, a German doctor, back in 1980. At the time, he was working in an oncology ward with cancer patients. he receives a phone call in the middle of the night that his teenage son had been shot and wounded. For 3 months, his son battled for his life until he lost that battle. 3 months after they lost their son, Dr. Hamer and his wife both came down with cancer. She ended up with breast cancer and he ended up with testicular cancer. And he thought there was absolutely no possible way that that was unrelated to their son's death. It couldn't possibly have been a coincidence because he was a perfectly healthy, fit man. She was perfectly healthy and fit as well. He was a cancer doctor. He knew all about preventing cancer. So what did he do? Well, he went to all the men in his practice who had been diagnosed with testicular cancer, and he asked them, what was happening in your life just prior to your diagnosis? Every single one of them had faced the loss of a child. That was not a coincidence. He knew it couldn't possibly be coincidence. So he asked them, can I take a CAT scan? Can I look at your brain and see what's going on in there? So he went and took pictures of the brain, and every single one of them had a specific spot on their brain. It was a little round spot. And depending on what stage they were in, the spot either looked like a bullseye if it was in the beginning stage, or it turned dark and then light, depending on what stage it was in. So then he went to the women who had breast cancer. Hey, what was going on in your life? Well, there was a worry about either about their home or about someone in their home that they would normally nurture. You know, a direct family member, for instance, or a threat to their home if, you know, they had lost a job and their nest, their home was being threatened. Like, I might get kicked out of my house. I can't afford this. Or, you know, I'm worried about my child, or I'm worried about my mother. Every single one of them. So he took CAT scans from them. He started taking, and all of them had the exact same spot, depending on whether they were right-handed or left-handed. It would depend on which breast was involved, whether it was the ducts or the glands. He started seeing direct correlations between emotional trauma and physical response. People with liver cancer, pancreatic cancer, they all had similar emotional conflicts. Something happened that triggered the biological process. So he did thorough research. And his research showed that it was a 100% correlation. It didn't happen sometimes and sometimes not. It was 100% across the board, consistency between the type of emotional shock that started the dis-ease process in the body and the body's response to that shock. And he was able to determine why the body would respond in specific ways to specific shocks. And you know what he discovered? It was for our survival. The body will create extra cells It'll create extra cells in the lungs if we need to get extra oxygen. It will create extra cells in the liver if it needs to be able to process through more toxins. Every single thing the body does is biologically meaningful. And the symptoms appear. We start to notice the symptoms at the exact time that the body goes into healing. After we have resolved a conflict, the body then resolves whatever it was doing to help us through the initial conflict. It now reverses what it was doing to help us through the conflict. This is when we have pain, swelling, headaches, vomit, diarrhea, all kinds of all the uncomfortable symptoms show up when we go into healing. So he discovered there's an actual process that the body goes through, and it is always started with an emotional shock. Something will trigger us. So the body is following the consciousness. If we get a shock, there are thought patterns that go with the shock. And if we are not able to resolve that energetically, that shock, whether it's a fear, a guilt, a doubt, a shame, a blame, all of these things are shocks to us. These are all the imprints of conflict. Fear, doubt, shame, blame, anxiety, guilt. These are all emotional conflicts. Anything that causes the mind to start going in loops, things that start to generate patterns. Internal conflicts, the emotional conflicts are being generated by energy. We're not taught how to see energy. So if we can't neutralize the fear or the guilt or the doubt or the shame or the blame or the anger, it keeps looping inside, and our body responds to that. And it responds by saying, hey, you got this thing going on. Are you going to resolve the conflict? Let me help you through the conflict. But this is it. The body, once we understand how to read the body, then we know which conflict we need to resolve energetically. This is biological law. Everything is energy. And we are non-physical beings. We are angels in human form. The physical body is the form. And the physical body's job is to directly reflect who we are being. If we are being fearful, anxious, worried, the body has to reflect that. When we believe in aging, I'm getting older, the body has to reflect that belief. There is no other way. So our bodies are responding to our consciousness. This was discovered. The 5 biological laws were discovered back in 1980. I wonder why the general public has never been informed of this. Why are we still fighting cancer and other diseases? Why are we being told that shots can prevent diseases? I contend that there's no money in natural healing. What if you knew how to heal your own body? What if you knew how to simply resolve these conflicts when they arise so that your body doesn't have to keep responding and responding and responding and responding to an unresolved conflict? What if you were a masterful creator and could simply create radiant health for yourself on command? What if you could simply choose it for yourself? No, Lisa, you can't do that. That would be way too simple. That doesn't work. It happens as we believe, but it also happens in accordance with universal law. We cannot escape the laws of the universe. The universe works in very specific ways. The law of attraction works exactly the same way for every single human on this planet, every single being in the universe, as a matter of fact. Universal laws mean the laws that govern, the laws of science that govern how the universe works, how every single thing in the universe works, how all that is. The biological laws of Germanic Healing Knowledge, or German New Medicine. It's up to us to learn how our bodies function. I'm not a practitioner of German New Medicine, although I use it as an example. I teach people the principles, but I teach consciousness, how we are literally utilizing our consciousness to bring things into physicalness. German New Medicine is the proof that our thoughts create our reality. It shows the specific thought patterns that generate the specific physical conditions that the medical model calls diseases and treats like a battlefield. So now your body becomes a battlefield. Why not just end the battle? It's time to end all battles on this planet. We have been battling through life for thousands upon thousands of years on this planet. We're taught that we have to battle in wars, that we have to battle diseases, that we have to battle the elements. Why are there more and more and more battles? There's big, big money in battles. What if we could just end all of the battles? Stop spending money on battling things that don't need to be battled. What if we could heal ourselves for free? And what if there was no battle involved? What if we could use our own love and light to heal ourselves? What if we could love and trust our bodies back to health rather than fighting them? Would you be willing to use your own light to heal yourself? to repair anything that is out of balance in your life? Would you be willing to shine your light and use the power of your own light to generate a beautiful life, to generate the rainbows? What if you are the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow? What if you are the rainbow? What if you are all of it? What if you could return to your divine nature? What if you could return your body to blueprint? What if you didn't have to age? What if you could clear out all of the programming you've received that has taught you to battle life? And what if you could generate heaven on earth instead? You actually have that power within, but it's inside. It doesn't come from a pill. It doesn't come from getting another job to get more money. It comes from turning on your light. It comes from turning on the light of your own awareness, tapping into your higher knowledge, to your higher self that's directly connected to universal wisdom. When you directly connect back into source, you source everything from source itself. Source becomes your source. It becomes the source of your abundance, the source of your happiness. You start to generate a completely different way of being on this planet. When you open up to the light within and you start seeing the power that you have to heal any aspect of your own life, you are the only one that has the power to heal yourself. If you keep looking to other people to do it for you, or for pills to do it for you, you're going to be very sadly mistaken, unfortunately. You are the answer. Turning your light back on fully is the answer. We have been battling the darkness on this planet. It's time for us to shine our light so the darkness goes away. Just like walking into a dark room and turning the light on. Darkness has no power other than the power that we feed to it. Are you willing to see beyond the disease programming? Are you willing to move beyond all the programming and start turning on your own light? Becoming a masterful creator. Search German New Medicine, Germanic Healing Knowledge, the 5 biological laws, if you would like to learn the science behind all of this. Read my book, The Simplicity of Self-Healing. Start to shift your consciousness, open up to see what's actually going on. If you're interested in working with me, I have a 12-week course that I teach called Aligning with Your Radiantly Healthy Self. I'll be teaching you again in 2024, early 2024. You have the power. Are you willing to use it? Thanks for listening. I hope this was helpful to you. Let's start changing the paradigm on this planet. Let's put an end to all wars. No more battles. Just peace on earth. And peace on earth begins right inside bringing ourselves to internal peace. Then it shows up in the external world. Until next week, have a beautiful week. Bye for now.